I am live. That's very interesting. So let me first see on LinkedIn what I have here. So where's my live video? No, I don't want to watch myself. I want to see the post. It's the eternal problem with the comments on LinkedIn. This is gonna be it's not gonna be a like a long video because I also have to pick up a package. Someone's going to deliver a package. And if you can get over the pandemic haircut, we're good. We can work together. So it looks like I can't post comments everywhere of that. Then again, let's. How's it going? How's Italy? Okay. So there are a couple of things I wanna talk about. The most important one being that it seems that more and more companies are opting for this whole surveillance model and basically faking working remotely. They literally move their office from their office to their employees' homes. And I think that that's shit. Literally shit. I have a short outline here because it's just, I think it's just because I love handwriting and I bought new tools. Otherwise, I would have had it on my phone. But there are a couple of points I wanna touch on, and this one with company surveillance is one that's the actual live video. This live was triggered by me reading New York Times. I think it was in the New York Times article. Yeah, it's how my boss monitors me while I work from home. And this was what pushed me to actually go live and want to talk about it. I actually posted on LinkedIn a couple of days ago about someone. I took a screenshot of someone's post on Facebook who was talking about a friend who whose boss would have them, like him and all the whole team, keep their webcam open and their mic open and all that crap so that they can know that they're working. Like it's this actual flawed what do I call it, approach to evaluating productivity. Like, you're 8 hours here, working 8 hours, producing 8 hours. No, dumb fuck. I'm not producing 8 hours. I'm probably solving your problems while I'm taking a dump. And then when I come to the computer, I just type it up. So for example, and I'll get back to the main topic. What you see here, and sorry for hitting the mic. Here, for example, this is a whole layering of how the components, and when I say components, I mean like the high level components of a software system, including a mobile app, back office, client web app, what else? Some APIs that they want to offer for integrations to third parties, what that system would look like at a higher level. That's where I solve problems, not sitting here with the mic open. That's probably written before I was going to bed, just because the idea came up and I just have pen and paper next to my bed. So this is a huge problem because it's actually like, it's surveillance, for fuck's sake. When you have someone turn on, especially in their own home, have a webcam and a microphone turned on just because they're working for you, that's crazy, because you're invading their privacy in all possible ways. And I deeply disagree with this shit. And I remember a comment from LinkedIn saying that whoever was asking the question in the screenshot that I posted should talk to the company's legal person. Like, have you heard of retaliation? Like, imagine, like, first you have to know if it's normal, right? Because it's the first reaction, like, am I the only one, or are we the only ones who are submitted to this type of thing? And then of course you have to go the hierarchical route and say like, hey, I don't agree with this, and blah blah blah. And if they kick you out for some reason or whatever, then you can sue them. But it's actually quite shit to do that. And from my perspective, and I wrote this down so I don't actually forget the formulation. If as a manager, so there are a couple of layers here. If as a business owner you do this shit, or as a manager, then you either read this some thing, and you cannot enact situations that involve people without mirroring yourself on the characters in those situations that you're enacting. So you either enacted this situation where you're the employee and you're like, oh yeah, there's no surveillance here, so I'm just gonna go sit on the couch. And this means that there's a problem with you, not with your employees, your shit, and you should change something about yourself, or otherwise you should be changed, replaced. And then there's the second situation where, if let's say you don't enact the situation, but you think that everyone steals, that everyone is trying to trick you, but you're not doing that. You're not like them. So this means that you think you're above everyone else, and that's another nasty problem. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's someone is calling me and I don't know why. Just a moment. Yes. Okay, so this is going to have to be short. This is why I hate, like, delivering packages is such a predictable thing. And I'm sorry for like cutting the live just to talk on the phone, but it's predictable. Like, you pick that crap up. Right now it's not traffic, you can estimate, right? I call the guy and I tell him like, hey, I want to do something. When are you going to deliver this? Because it's like a scheduled delivery, right? And he says, you're the first one. In about an hour I will be there. Okay, cool. Then I'm doing half an hour of live video, and then I'm going to go back home and get the package, right? And he calls me 20 minutes later, like, I'm 5 minutes away. Fuck you. Well, so I'm sorry for this, but I'm going to have to cut it to this surveillance thing. And the other two topics, like, one of them was the importance of good design principles and what I learned from studying, barely scratching the surface of product design, and what I learned by buying 2 new Lamy pens that I'm going to talk about in terms of design, of course, and how this translates into software development and hopefully into product development as a whole. But I'm going to do this tomorrow. Right now, the thing is that applying these actual surveillance tactics, right? Like, Edward Snowden blew the whistle on this type of shit. And right now it's actually like overt. It's not even covert. It's not something that you don't know about. Like they asked their employees to install software to take screenshots of their desktops. I've read in that New York Times article, I've actually read that one person, I can't remember who because I only read it once, but one person forgot to sign out of the monitoring tool, and the tool took screenshots of her display while she was getting ready for some yoga or exercise class with her trainer, who was, of course, on the screen in like yoga, whatever, fitness clothing, and like arranging the mat and everything over there. That's a huge breach of privacy, and not only like the privacy of this person who had the software installed, but of the other person, the trainer, who was actually in her home trying to teach a private lesson, right? So if you think about it like that, it's just the same as what can be inferred or deduced from what Edward Snowden said about collecting metadata and basically not needing actual information about the person to know their whereabouts or what they're doing. You don't need to know the content of the text message if you know the people who are sending messages between them. So in this case, or Cambridge Analytica, for example, where you would allow whatever, a game or whatever they would have, you would allow it on your to access your Facebook profile data, but they would also access your friends' profile data. Although they did not consent to that, this is the same thing. You have a monitoring tool. It screenshots your display, your desktop, but it also screenshots whoever is over there doing something. And in this situation, that's messed up. And the origin of this is either people who think that everyone is malevolent just because they are, but they wouldn't admit to it. And in this situation, they either need to improve themselves and their situation or be replaced by someone who has a brain and has eyes to see, or there are people who think they are above their teams, the people who work for them, or their employees in the case of business owners. And in this situation, this really, really requires an attitude shift, because this is more messed up than knowing that you're flawed and thinking that everyone else is flawed. Like thinking about yourself as being above everyone else, I think it's worse than knowing you're fucked up and thinking that everyone is fucked up as well. And I'm sorry for the French. I know it's not quite suitable for the LinkedIn crowd, but it's coming from my guts. It's from the bottom of my stomach. It's something that messes with me so hard. Like having someone keep their webcam and microphone open just so you can think they're working. They're a software developer. They're probably scratching their head 15 minutes every hour, just sitting looking in through the screen. They don't even see anything and just think about stuff. Would you deem that unproductive? Because some of these tools have some productivity evaluation algorithms in which if you're idle, right, they cut your productivity score, right? I'm using a tool for metrics for myself, which is called Rescue Time, which gives me my productivity pulse based on the apps I use. I would never install such a tool to give that to someone else. If they would have me install it and that tool would give reports to me and I would choose what to share from that report, that's okay. Like I have no problem segmenting things in Rescue Time and sharing a report with someone who's directly interested in my progress. But otherwise, like having monitoring crap like that installed on my computer so someone can think or know that I'm working and that I'm being productive, that's crap. Okay, this is it. I have to go because estimates, basically. In the next live, and I'll do this tomorrow, I will talk about the importance of having good design principles and how product design principles can be applied to software development and to product development. And I also want to talk a bit about some new features that we're bringing into WeRemote, the new logo, and a small list of miscellaneous stuff. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm sorry that it was a short and rather interrupted video, but at the same time, rejoice. It's not me talking 1.5 hours about things. So there's a good part in this as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and catch you in the next one.